Hey, what's up? I'm Atia Babcock. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to teach a foal to lead. Now, obviously, this is a process that takes a lot of care, and there's a few things you need to know so that you don't run into trouble and make it harder on your foal than it needs to be. We want to keep this simple and easy for your foal to understand. So the first thing that you'll want to do is just get your foal comfortable with yielding off of steady pressure from a string. And I start this way before I ever start putting a halter on. I just get them to yield a little bit to the right, like one step, and then I rub them, give them a lot of scratches, step the other way. That's the first step. Then I usually introduce the halter. The little steady pressure exercises, you can start those when they're a couple days old. You'll just do just a tiny little bit, not too much, to get that started. Later on, I'll introduce the halter, and I can't show you how to introduce the halter because his owner did an awesome job getting him comfortable and friendly and good with the halter, so it didn't really have to do much on that. So after you have them good with yielding off steady pressure, you've done a lot of friendly with the halter, you can rub them all over with it, you can put it on and off his nose, he's comfortable with you reaching around his neck, all those little steps. Once you have that done and you have him comfortable with the halter, next is to just put that lead rope on. Or if that lead rope's too heavy, a lot of times I'll just connect a string from my stick. Just connect that on there. That way it's not super long. They don't have this bulky, heavy snap hanging down on them. And then I'll just start playing with leading just a little bit. And in the beginning, if they just follow you around, that's great. That's a win. You know, again, I'll keep my sessions like 5 to 10 minutes. If that, and just do a little bit, pepper it in every time I have a chance to work with that foal. And then from there, when you actually start leading, you know, I recommend starting off to the side. And the reason I'll do that is because if you pull like straight on, you'll almost get in a tug of war with that young horse. And then they can lock up and engage those hindquarters. Instead, if I kind of step off to the side, it's a lot gentler way to start. And then if they get worried, I can go straight to that hindquarter yield, help them find some movement and some relief off that pressure. I always want to be in a position to help my horse and give my horse more information to help them understand. Next, if you do get in a tug-of-war position, like your foal doesn't want to lead through the gate, which happens a lot of times, doesn't want to follow mom, you can just step off to the right, step off to the left, pull a little bit to the right, pull to the left. I'm not going to release that pressure because I don't want to give them a release for pulling against that pressure. I want them to step forward off of that. So I'll keep the pressure relatively the same. You know, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm just holding, and I'll move to the right and to the left until I can kind of get their feet unstuck. Now, if your colt starts backing up, and this is where you can run into a little trouble. You want to make sure that you address this immediately. Because what usually happens is if they get really worried, they'll topple over backwards, and we want to avoid that, obviously, at all costs. So what fixes rearing is yielding the hindquarters. So if I'm in front of my horse and I'm leading and they get stuck and then they start backing up and they're starting to get light on that front end, I can come around to the side and move their hip around and then release. And this helps do one of two things. It's a controlling maneuver that another horse would do in the herd, getting that crossover. Also, it's softening. So it's a way to just take that brace out of my horse, and I'll do this with a lot of softness. I'm not getting mad or trying to do it really fast. I'm just trying to get around there and effectively move the hindquarters around. I don't want to add more pressure to the situation. The next thing I'll say is you need to learn to be a good post. So as babies are exploring and learning, they're gonna try the wrong thing. Just expect it. And one of the things that they'll like to do, like when I'm leading the mare and the foal together and I'm leading them to where I turn them out for the day, then a lot of times he'll get, a bee in his bonnet and he'll feel real good and he'll run off and he'll try to leave me and run straight off. And I just need to sit there and hold, stand and hold, let him hit the pressure off that halter and come back around. And it's a lot better for them to learn it when they're little than when they're older. And obviously, keep it within the scope of what your young horse can handle. Don't do too much. If your horse is getting tired or overwhelmed, that's a sign to quit for the day. Find a good note to end on, and then come back to it another day. You don't have to get the whole process done all in one session. This is meant to be spread out over many sessions and even many months, if you can. The next thing is be gentle. They are a young horse. We're not here to manhandle them. Remember, they're gonna get bigger one of these days, and we want them to know the correct response to pressure, how to be a good partner, and think about all the habits you're building, because once they get bigger, that's when a lot of people run into issues. They baby them too much. All the same things that apply to an older horse, like respect of space, still apply. If you wouldn't let an older horse do it, then don't let your young horse do it. Obviously, balance it with some grace, but that's really the best advice I can give you. So I hope these tips helped you with your young horse. If there is any questions you have, drop them in the comments below. Till next time, keep it simple and keep it savvy.